Distinguished guests, fellow architects, engineers, students, and the participants. Now, while speaking on green architecture and green building, I always hesitate myself to speak on this. The reason is there is more misconception than the concept of green architecture or green building. Now, with plantation and greenery in a building that will make it green. The green building is essentially a building that is time all of you know, which uses less energy, less waste, recycling of the water, recycled building materials, and also the other forms of the energy like solar energy and others, making it an example in sustainable development context. 10 years ago in Delhi, there was a conference in connection with the 50 years of our independence. I was the main speaker and I spoke that if use of less energy, use of the recycled water or no water or little water or zero waste, use of less building materials like less resources are used. If these are the essential components of green buildings, then all the slum structures we have, in particular green. The slum dweller, it takes very little from the ground. We pour bamboo pole and with turpentine sticks and others we build the structure. He gets only minimum amount of the water. Whatever waste he has, try to use this waste also. So his beneficial to extract. Now the other guests who are in the class asked me to sit down. So I finished it, but as soon as I came out of the class, all the students of School of Planning now they said, just stop me. I said, you are the speaker of this, what you want? Let the government be very clear what to work. Because essentially all the green buildings which you have seen, and some of the architects who have shown you some examples are very expensive. And by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we will not do anything in the millions of houses we have. But essentially, these are the main components which the concept in other people are trying. That is essential component in infrastructure. I agree. If that is done on the wider scale with the awareness and using these, whether it's solar energy, use of recycled water, use of say recycled building materials and all this, then okay. Now there are a few things which the architects have failed to observe. And World Health Organization have warned it. One is that conservation of the energy, and government media has published very recently the energy conservation rules and all this. Wherever the energy has been conserved in the way with the building designer do this, starting windows and doors and all these things, then you are going to things like England, the widespread asthma. And also the chest problem, because there is ventilation. Now, in shopping malls, if you spend many shopping malls 2-3 hours, you will be sick. It's called the sick building syndrome. Sick building syndrome is connected with this green architecture very much. Now, this has not been covered in the energy conservation laws, and we wrote in the media that why you didn't come up And they did it after 3-4 years, consulting various people, institute architects, institute engineers, so many people, and it's absent. And so there are many things which are essential, which are not being implemented here, are very questionable things which the architects and engineers have to deal. Then again there is one main question about green buildings in the sustainable environment. You cannot get isolated between few buildings which are green in an environment which is full of pollution and full of other adverse effects. Now, there are various schemes, like my scheme is the first scheme, the clothing is the second scheme, and building structure, building envelope is the third scheme, which is known as third scheme. There is also a fourth scheme, that is the biosphere just above the building or around the building. The green building components, all these studies do not deal with this biosphere. And there are various assessment methods of green building which many of you have studied, like leadership in environment, and the American rating system, and many buildings have been rated as platinum, silver, and so on. Or there is a British system of analyzing the green building and giving them some plot point. But they didn't consider, they consider environment now as essential. And last year in the USA, I have heard that they are now going to change this. They lead assessment method, but they have found the limits. Now, the thing is that they didn't consider the biosphere. Secondly, we have the adverse effects of this biosphere and adverse effect of the pollution other things on the buildings. Now, these are not taking into consider how you will have a green building and starting closing it from all these adverse effects. I am not speaking of the traffic noise and sound pollution and so on. There are so many things. So, is the question now the question has come up. It is a wider concept that green building should be part of the sustainable ecological development of the cities. It is not to make a few isolated buildings. And in this context, one is to consider so many things together. They are very essential, like this, some people are considering ecological footprint, which you have heard. And in this ecological footprint, the city is to be evaluated, and then the environmental parameters for the green buildings. What is the ecological footprint? Say, if you consider from the very early morning today, your toothpaste and toothbrush, they come from Korea, factory from Korea. Your cornflakes comes from Bombay. Your milk comes from Gujarat. So if you list the type of things or nature of the things, the amount of things you consume from the morning to the evening, you find that your consumption pattern is connected to the supply positions in various parts of India and even abroad. So it's very expensive. The cost of the transport. Previously, a man in a rural area, at least once a month, once a year, he could consume a butter. Now he cannot. Because the butter is expensive because it comes from our places. So these things are saying that the consumption pattern needs to be changed and the footprint. What is the characteristic footprint? That's the whole India. So if we reduce, unless we reduce this, the essential component of the game is a very scientific thing, and people are apparently there are some cities who have prepared these plans, and no city in India has yet prepared this footprint plan. This is what one must do. Then how the ecological wire and the electric wire is connected. One is the energy aspect, but there are other aspects also. Now, entire water system in the city Like whatever we consume, the water, 85 to 90% goes to drain. What happens after that? We don't know. So just inside me within one building, will do when it will take 1,000 years, 1 million to make a city. You see, so therefore, all the essential components which make in building or the same components should be used for making the cities green, the sustainable cities as we call it. Now, the question of sustainability and sustainability, there are two things. One is the broader aspect, which is connected with sometimes called the green agenda. We have the emission of the gas, the greenhouse effect, which you read in the news of climate change, and then there are other things. Then the second part is building. Now we architects and engineers here are concerned with building today. We will be considering only building, green buildings, green architecture, and there are speakers here who will speak about it, and that how the green buildings. We may not go beyond the buildings and the wider concept, but I just mentioned this because the wider concept is also essential. And then the green building movement, we started long ago, even in India. It's quite old, but in Western countries it's not at old. Even Rabindranath Tagore wanted to build somebody which was art structures. And he did that it will be a green structure. We have the records, we want to publish these records of how the poet Tagore wanted to have a green building and build a ceremony which something is still there. All the art and materials which it can be. There are other things, many of the press media, that we have done this before in Pondicherry, Shiorati, Ashram, and many places. But the modern concept of the green building, or sustainable buildings rather, is more or less a Western concept, which has come very recently, which is being propagated here also, and some architects have designed it. But I think today we will see some of the examples, and it will be a learning process here today also, that most of the young students who are here will learn much of it, and more. If you know it, when you go out of this, particularly to the young student, because all it's not possible for everybody to attend, you tell your colleagues, your friends and others what you have learned here. And by this way, you spread the idea of green building, that we have seen green building, you know what is green building. Then maybe even 10 out of 50 or 100 practices partly or fully, that will be a